Welcome to another episode of ERAtv, the show where we have a little fun with the movers and shakers in the DR business. I'm Craig Burnett here with Elliot Segal. Good to see you, Elliot.
Hey, Craig. Nice seeing you.
Now, Elliot's with Guthy-Renker, and we were talking about names because my producer said it's Elliot Segal, and I said, no, it's Elliot Segal, and that's why you should never really trust a producer. But
smart.
We were talking about your company name, and you were telling a story about a receptionist who had a little trouble with the Guthy-Renker name.
The receptionist didn't last long, Craig. She was a temp. She came in, and she happened to answer the phone Guthy-Rectum, which I'm not sure where that came from, if that was some sort of psychological malaprop. I don't know.
That's funny. All right, now, I have to ask, because I know it's on the lips of everyone watching the show. Does everything Guthy-Renker touches turn to gold?
I would like to answer that in the affirmative, but I think one of the biggest assets that Guthy-Renker has is the fact that we've been doing this a long time, and there have been missteps along the way.
Sure.
And we're in a business that, you know, is all about testing and nurturing and tweaking, and we've had our share of mistakes, but I think that collectively helps us to grow and make smarter decisions.
Now, you mentioned tweaking, and that's something I heard in one of the seminars last year here at the D2C Convention, and something as an editor for 30 years I never really encountered before, and that is the tweaking of a successful show. Something that's currently working and isn't broke and nobody wants to fix it, yet there is value and importance in doing some tweaks to freshen the show. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I think you always need to be optimizing, and the minute you start resting on your laurels, that can be dangerous because the marketplace is changing fast, I mean exponentially, so you're always wanting to look at your creative and all aspects of your marketing mix, your inbound call scripts, what you're doing with your landing pages, you know, how you're using all of these multi-channels that we're really talking about at this show, you know, just tweaking things a little bit here and there throughout the channel spectrum can really make a big difference. And so you always want to be sort of challenging your assumptions. How can we better be serving the customer? How can we be exceeding their expectations? What more can we be doing to really be delivering value? And the minute you think you've nailed it, I mean, it's always changing.
Yeah. Now we hear a lot about multi-channel. We hear a lot about social media. Do we need, as producers, to produce different versions of what we're doing for the different places it's going to be seen, or is a good infomercial or a good short form always a good short form or a good infomercial?
Well, I think that each has their own dynamic. So I think that when you consider, let's say, the creative aspect of what's happening in our business, I think we are, you know, audio-visual content providers, and then there's different platforms of that content. You have the long-form infomercial, you have the spots, there's different degrees, there's 5-minute, there's 15-minute iterations that you used either domestically or internationally. There's what you might be doing with mobile. There's how you're going to drive people to your web. So in my opinion, I think that there are distinctions because it's all about simplicity and clarity of message, and depending on the format you're using, that will change. So I think that the messaging is similar, but the execution within these platforms, I think, is very unique and differentiated, all under one branding umbrella.
Sure.
But the content is different.
What has changed about our business? I mean, everything changes constantly in our business, but what are some of the major things that have changed over the years, and how has Guthy-Renker adapted to those changes?
Well, certainly, you know, as we are in the past, think about it, just, I don't know, where we could 5 years ago or some number of years ago that's in very recent memory, you know, our business was about, you know, cost per call and creating that infomercial or that short form and measuring, you know, how many phone calls and orders we get. And that's that sort of, that one transaction. Now we're seeing a situation where people are getting their information in a variety of different ways. It's almost as if you're over a certain price point, you are driving people to your website, and the web is really not an order, just an order page, but it's a closing page.
Sure.
So when you talk about content, you better have content that can help walk that customer through the logic stream and the emotional connection of why they want that product.
And it's not just
drive
research, like you said, it's really it's like a gentle nudge along the highway.
Exactly.
It's not just a bunch of facts on a page.
No, you need to drive them in.
You have to take the creative through into the web, and that's
Correct.
what I don't think a lot of people are doing that.
I think it's critical because it's not just a rote function of, there's no just clear roadmap, if you will, or a checklist. There's a certain creativity that goes with the essential elements that need to be on there. And just like you're using your sales persuasion and creativity in a short form and in a long form, your website now is really a destination to close that customer and make them really feel bonded and connected to their purchase decision.
With all these changes going on all the time, and you've been in this business a long time, do the changes drive you? Do the changes give you drive and hope for the future and keep you focused and honed? And keep Guthy-Renker in general from getting complacent about all of the success that you've had?
When you think about it, I mean, you can look at these changes right now and perhaps be overwhelmed and wondering what the future is, but I think truly the future is very positive because the direct response is here to stay.
Right. Because
direct response, think about it, everything that you're seeing these days is asking for action. It's not just it's everything. All your sort of marketing messages are direct response oriented. They're trying to drive you to commit and take action. So what's exciting about all of these platforms and touch points coming together is it's still the same psychology of getting people to make a purchase decision, but now you just have these different platforms. Think about, in the past we were saying, word of mouth is is what can really help spread the message. Well, with social media, what is social media but word of mouth on steroids, right?
Exactly.
And so those kinds of things, I think, really help bond customers and together, consumers together, to help make those decisions. So it's just a different platforms doing the age-old persuasion techniques and sales techniques that work.
Right. It's gone from the boardwalk in Atlantic City to the Palm Pilot or something.
Exactly right.
All right. Now, in our closing moments here, you guys use a lot of celebrities and fairly big name celebrities in what you're doing. Very big names in some cases.
Do you have the Bieber fever?
Who was that? Not yet. Not yet, but I'm going to get it. I hope. Wow, you really threw me with that one. I do declare, Mr. Segal, I ain't never been asked a question like that. Who was the biggest pain in the rear to work with? Dishing right here on ERAtv, who will you never work with again?
And where do I send my resume?
Darn it, I thought maybe I could get that one by you. Not going to happen though, is it?
The people, again, when we pick our celebrities, we pick them because they're connected to a product, and really when you find those folks, we're fine.
Excellent.
I have to be politically correct on that one, folks.
There you go. Elliot, thanks for joining us today.
Craig,
and thank you for watching ERAtv. I'm Craig Burnett. We'll see you next time.